All right, good morning. It's been about a week since I've made a video, and haven't really done much on the old RV build. But today, pretty exciting. I've got 2 new batteries to install. Okay, and these are 12-volt 100 amp hour batteries. So I've got 2 more, and they're going to go into my my battery box here. So let me get straightened up here, get settled in, try to find my whatever they call that thing that holds the camera, the tripod, and we'll get to work hooking them up. But as usual, whenever you're working with, with electricity or your batteries, you want to disconnect. So here's my shore power, which is just a 20 amp extension cord running from the house to the RV. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that. Okay, so now I've killed my 110, and my batteries are in the box here. So I'm still now running on inverter power. I shut my solar off earlier because my batteries are at 100%, and I just didn't want the controller to keep clicking on and off. So, alright, so now what I'm going to do is disconnect the batteries, and that's this switch right here. Alright, okay, so now the inverter just died. My automatic transfer switches are dead, both of them, one for here. So my panels are all dead, so there's no current flowing anywhere. All right, let me get set up, get the battery box open, get these out of the box and out of the cardboard boxes, shipping boxes, and into the battery box. I'll be back. Okay, we're back. Got my battery box right here. I've got my 2 new batteries, and I'm going to be installing them in my battery box. I keep these 2 pieces of wood. They hold the top open while I'm in here working, and you can see I've got the batteries. There's 4 of them. Okay, and I've got them all hooked together in parallel. So I've got 4 more cables, 2 negatives and 2 positives and 2 negatives. And this is 4/0 gauge wire. This is the thickest that I think they make, or they probably make more, but this is the thickest we can get right now for this purpose. And by going with this large, very large size wire, when you're hooking your batteries together and the amount of amps that are traveling back and forth, we're losing very little with these thick wires. So they don't bend that easy, but they do bend. Okay, because as you can see, they have to bend a little bit to connect together. So, all right. So let me set those down. Now the first thing I have to do is disconnect my my main negative wire, which is right here, and then I'm going to disconnect my my positive terminal wire here that runs up to here. Okay, now in the previous video I shut all the power off, but keep in mind the batteries, they're batteries, so if you touch any of these negatives and positives together, you're going to have a problem. Okay, so we're going to be very careful with that. And Actually, I made a mistake. I'm going to install my negatives first and leave my grounds still connected. You know, doesn't really matter, I don't think, but I'm going to do it that way anyway. So I'll be working on this end right here, and then I'll adjust it so you can see what I'm doing here. So in previous videos, you saw that I have this this one hot wire right here that goes to my LPG monitor, and it's hot all the time, and it goes into this circuit panel right here. Okay, so this wire is feeding that fuse panel. All right, and in a previous video, I think I showed you these battery monitors that I was putting in here. It's telling me the voltage of this particular battery. So I'm going to leave that hooked on, and I'm going to be getting more for the rest of the batteries. I've got plenty to do them all. I've got different ones, and I've been trying different ones. And once I'm done with that review, I'll get back to you. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this main hot wire, and because it has to be moved. Get it enough to where now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my new one and set it right there, and I'm going to leave all this stuff, but here's my main connection, and I'm going to run this outside of the box. I'm going to stick one of my new cables in, and I'm going to go ahead and hook all of them together. Well, not hooked together, but you know, sandwich them together, and then get my nut started again. Okay. All right. This is the hardest part sometimes. Once you get it started, then it's pretty easy after that with a wrench. But you don't want to try to use a wrench to get these nuts started, because if you cross thread that battery, I guess you're kind of screwed. I mean, not kind of screwed. I think you're definitely screwed. Okay. All right. So I've got it started with my finger. Okay. So now I'm just going to snug it up a little bit. I'm not going to go all the way with it because I still have to bend that cable to not bend it, but I have to position it such that it'll reach the next cable. All right. So I've got my spacer, okay, and I'm using that between the batteries. I like to keep about a ½ an inch in between the batteries, so alright, here goes nothing. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. Alright, I'm just gonna lift this right up and set it right in place. You might have seen me struggling to get the battery in the box. I forgot that I have to take the lid off to get the batteries in. So it's not something you do every day, so I just kind of slipped my mind. But got the lid off now. And now I'm going to set my battery back down in there. Alright, very nice. Alright, cool. Now what I'm going to do is, I've got my short wire, my parallel connection from the previous battery is going to connect here, okay? And this company, Windy Nation, sends these little covers. They're kind of nice. They cover up the the hole there, so you know, keeps you from touching the battery. I guess anything that you can get that'll help prevent the batteries from wigging out or whatever. They also sent these little boots. Now I don't know if they're going to work or not, but I'm going to try them anyway, because why not? And I guess the way they work is like that. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right. So that'll give me some protection there. Of course, it came with new hardware. Not new, well, new hardware for this. And again, in a previous video, we discussed the proper way to install bolts on a battery. And basically, it's a flat washer, a lock washer, and a flat washer. I'm going to set these other two up here for a second, or the other set, okay? So here's the bolt, lock washer, and flat washer, because you want your battery cable to be touching the battery terminal directly. You don't want anything in between. Okay, so here's my main wire. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this in here and get it situated in such a way that I can put my screw in. Put my bolt in. I'm going to run it underneath this this nice strap that they're using on their batteries now. Okay. Now this terminal here is the one I was telling you about that you have to bend, you know, to make it work. And okay. So there we go. Now remember, you got to finger tighten this thing first. So not try to do this with a wrench and expect it to be a positive result for you. Okay, I think I'm going to come around this way with it. Let me see here. I can put this. I want to orient them in such a way that they don't, you know, don't get bounced around quite a bit. So this looks pretty good. All right. Okay. You gotta get in that hole though. Alright. Okay. See if we can get a couple of turns. There we go. Okay. Alright, nice. Okay. This one here I'm actually gonna loosen up just a little more. I don't want that wire flexing as much. Okay, that looks pretty doggone good right there. So I'm happy with that position right there. I'm going to go ahead and snug this one down. Okay. so it doesn't move. Okay. And also, again, in the previous video, I said, you know, when you're working with this battery stuff, you know, it's lead. It's pretty strong, but if you strip your batteries, you're screwed. Okay, so I've got this side pretty much where I want it, coming in direct from that side. So now I can go ahead and pull this one down tight. All right. Nice. Nice. Okay. All right. So that is beautiful. All right. Now we're going to take one of our negative wires, and we're going to go ahead and put it here and here. Okay, and again, this company puts these really nice plastic covers. Okay, so even if I touch that negative to that, that positive, that negative, Patriot. So let me go ahead and loosen this side. Okay. Okay. So I've got that, and I'm going underneath the handle. As you can see, the previous versions of this battery had a plastic handle. I like that strap better though, because it gets out of the way a little easier. Okay, and again, I'm not going to snug this too tight because I still have to bend this around. Now we're going to get our other bolt, put the lock washer on, and then put the flat washer on. And this one's just by itself, so it's not going to be that difficult. And remember, we want to get it thumb tightened. And this one here, pretty much fall wherever it's going to fall. So let me go ahead and tighten this one back up. Remember, nice and snug, but don't strip it. Okay. 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 All right. I mean, for all intents and purposes, we're done right now. I mean, we have 5 batteries. We could turn the power back on and life would be good, but we still have one more battery to put in, so let's do that. All right, just move down a little bit. Oh man, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to stick this boot on there, so let me do that real quick. The other ones didn't come with this, but I'm gonna go see if they I'm gonna go to their website and see if they sell any of these. I dropped it in there. No big deal. No big deal. Move it out of the way. Okay. Get my fat hand down in there. Alright, I got it. No big deal. Okay. So let me slip this boot over this connection. I'll show you what these do when I'm all done. But I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you know, why not, right? It's a how-to video, or let's watch Vince build his RV video. Alright. Very nice. Okay. Stick that sucker in there. I won't forget on the next one. I forgot because this doesn't come with didn't come with the other one. Alright, so I got that started. I'm gonna crank it down. Let me get my battery where I want it. Let's get that sucker. There we go. Okay. Alright. Very nice. Okay. I'll show you these closer, but basically what this boot does is it covers that terminal. So if you were to drop a wrench on it or something like that, no big deal. Same thing with the positive terminal. We just gotta pull it back over and cover that nut. Okay. And you know, it's just, again, this is all safety stuff. I mean, that's pretty much covering that, I'd say about 97%. But because I got two wires going on, it's a little bit exposed. But I mean, if you were to drop something metal across those two, I think you'd be good to go. All right, so we got that in there. Life is good with that. Okay, now let's go down and let's put our next battery in. Let me shut this one down and start it again. Okay, I think you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. We're gonna find out. Okay, so I've got my battery here. Let me go ahead and loosen this this master negative cable. Set that up there. All right. And this is my master cable, so I'm just going to set it outside the box. I've got my spacer. Okay. And let me turn the battery around. All right. And let's put that battery inside the box. Okay. All right. Let's see. Can you see that? That's my negative terminal. That's my positive terminal. Okay, great. All right. Now, I've got my two new terminal cables that I'll be putting on there. They're going to go from here to there. I hope you guys can see this. All right, I'm going to take off this handy dandy little cap that they put on them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to keep those because you never know when you have to take a battery out or something like that, and they'd just be nice to have. They'd be nice to have, you know, for whatever reason. Okay, set those up there. All right. Now, what I need to do is disconnect this one right here so I can put my cable underneath it. It doesn't have to be underneath it, but it has to be. All right. Yeah, I probably should have. Okay, so here's my new one. Stick that on there. I'm gonna run it underneath the strap and stick it there, and then I'm going to, remember, I'm gonna thumb tighten it. Okay. Now this cable is sort of like the other one at the other end. It just has just one connection. So let me bend that sucker on around. Oh, guess what I almost forgot? I almost forgot. They sent me these nice little things. And again, I'm going to try and locate these because I'd like to have them on all of my battery terminals. But I mean, I keep the lid closed pretty much all the time unless I'm working on this thing. But you know, it's I'm gonna set this one right here, so I remember to put it on. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put it on right now. Then I won't forget. So what I'm doing is I'm slipping it over the end of the terminal. Now, keep in mind, it does have a bottom to it right here, okay? And if that bottom prevents this from making contact with the battery, then you got a problem. So we want to make sure we pull it back real far so that when we install the battery, we can pull it back over and we know that, you know, we know that there's nothing getting in the way of that. Okay. All right, let me set that aside for a moment. Let me do the same thing. I'm doing the, see if I can't move this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. I'm doing the same thing with this one. I'm gonna slide it up as far as I can. And remember, this is 4.0 cable. This is some big ass cable. Okay. Lots of amps. Okay. Alright. So now, got our bolt. Got our lock washer. And our flat washer. Okay. And remember, this is just a single, so it's pretty simple to do. You can pretty much get it to go wherever you want. And, you know, get it thumb started. Of course, I'm working against myself here. There we go. I felt it. I felt it start. Okay. Alright, so make sure that boot's out of the way. Let's tighten that sucker up. One thing I wanted to do first. Okay. Let me loosen that one back up for just a second. I wanted a little bit negative pressure on that. Okay. All right. All these. Situated where I want them. And now I can go ahead and snug this one down. I think though, before I close this up today, I am going to go ahead and put a piece of tape on top of all these nuts just to give it like a little protection. Okay, so now all of our positive terminals are all connected in parallel, okay, but the battery won't work yet because I don't have my negative cable hooked up. So this is what we got here. Okay, I've got my bolt, stick it on there, run it under the strap, catch the other one, get it thumb tightened. Alright. Now I'm going to remove that little plastic thing, and again I'm going to keep those because you never know. Now, anybody watching this video that knows something about something will know that my cable is like uber long, okay? Which is not a good thing in the big scope of things. But right now, until I get all my batteries in and I know how much, you know, how much cable I'm going to need, etc., I'm leaving this extra cable for myself so that I, you know, can move things around or whatever it is I might need to do in the future. Okay, so that just sits down there real nice. All right, let me get my other bolt lock washer and flat washer ready. Okay, got that there. Bend that sucker around. Oh, this is really nice. That went in real nice and easy. Okay. All right, I got thumb started. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to loosen this one too, because I can move that a little bit. Alright, same thing with this one here. I think I'm going to loosen that one also, just to take some of the strain off of those cables, because when I set them up originally, remember they were, you know, they had their they had their own position. Okay, so now, you know, now I can sort of kind of reposition them. All right. Remember, snug but not too tight. All right, let's get this sucker snug down. Remember, tight but not. Okay. All right. Now, let's hook up, tighten up this one. The bolt seems a little bigger than the other, that's strange. Alright. Okay. Alright, let's pull our boot. Pull our boot under our nut. And that, my friend, is a beautiful thing. Okay, I like that. I like those a lot. Alright. Let me shut this one. Okay. So, let's quickly summarize. I attached another, well, I installed another battery here. So that's 1, 2, 3. And 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so this is a new battery. This is a new battery, and I've got space for one more. So this box will hold a total of 8. Okay, now you see all my cable connections, my parallel for all my negatives, and this right here is my main wire that comes around, goes through, comes up to my kill switch, comes up to here, it's fused right there, and then it goes to bus bars, it goes to my inverter, and it goes to solar. I mean, it's everything comes right into there. Okay, and charges these batteries. And remember, this is 4.0 gauge wire. Okay, all right, now my negatives, as you can see. No, you can't because it's got that black thing on it. So from there to there to there to there to there, and finally to here. Here's my negative cable. Comes around, and that goes in through the left side. Comes up and goes right here. Now it goes here, and this is my shunt. Okay, and my shunt is for my battery monitoring system. Okay, everything negative in this trailer is connected to this post right here, whether it's through the inverter, The bus bar, solar, wind, doesn't matter. Everything in this trailer goes negative to this point right here. And that allows that device right there, which is the Victron BMV 712, to do its job. And that's what that little cable right there goes through and goes up to the coach. I can also do it on Bluetooth, and I can also do it on my computer. I did a video of the Victron monitor prior, so you might look that up as well. Okay, let me get the lid back on this thing, and we're gonna have to make a couple of changes to the Victron battery monitoring system. I've added 200 more amp hours, so I'm gonna have to change that setting from 400 to 600, and then we'll look at some readings and see if we had a successful install. All right, I'll be back. Okay, I'm inside the RV with my RV computer, and let me get away from that door. There we go. Okay, so you should be able to see that pretty good. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to go up under settings here, and I need to go to battery, and as you can see, it's set to 400 amp hours. See, 400 amp hours. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that as soon as I can find my mouse, and I'm going to change that to 600. Okay, so then I'm going to click OK. All right, and there's all the other settings. Okay, so we've changed that. Alright. Now, this is they did a software update the other day, and you can see that I've got my temperature unit set to Fahrenheit. Okay, but it seems to only be showing my battery temperature in Celsius. So this, I guess I'll have to come out with a new version, but whatever. Okay. So what this is showing me is I'm basically at 100% right now, okay? My voltage is at 12.92. I'm currently drawing out of my batteries 6 amps, and I'm consuming 78 watts, okay? Now, under these conditions right now, this battery monitor is estimating that I have 3 days and 4 hours before my batteries are completely dead, or 50% or whatever. And so it's important that we put a charge on this bad boy. Okay, now we're at 12.92. Now keep in mind, I've got shore power turned off and I've got the solar turned off. So now I'm going to go back and turn on the solar panels. I'm going to leave the shore power unhooked, and then I want you to see these numbers change. Matter of fact, well, let me stop this. I'm going to go get my tripod, because I want you to see those numbers change when I turn on the solar panels. I'll be back. Okay, like I said before, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to, you can see me in the reflection. I'm going to go turn on the solar. Now right now our voltage is at 12.9. We're consuming 6 amps and we're consuming 77 watts. And based on this, I've got 2 days and 22 hours left. Okay, all right. Now because we're at 12.9, we're still at 100%. But if that were to drop down to 12.89, for example, it might go to 99%. But watch what happens to the power and the current and the time remaining when I turn on the solar panels. All right, I'm gonna leave this on, I'll be back. Okay. I mean, it speaks for itself. You can see exactly what happened. Remember, I was at 12.9 was my voltage. You can see my voltage is climbing because the solar panels are charging the batteries. Okay. Before we were consuming 6 amps. But now we have available 16.6 amps. That's what we're drawing out of the system right now. Well, we were drawing out 6, but we're putting back in 16. Now, I happen to know because my charge controller tells me I'm putting in around 21 amps. Okay. Now, you see those numbers just jump down in negative. That's because the charge controller shut off because the batteries are full, and it knows that, so it keeps cycling off. Okay, before it shuts off again, let's just show you the power that's being utilized right now is 36 watts, meaning that's what I'm putting back into the batteries. 30, 41, 39 watts. Okay. Remember, that was a negative 77, I think, when we did not have the solar panels on. Now look at those panels climbing. Now those numbers dipped pretty low for a second there because a cloud came over. Now the thing just cycled again. Now it's back on again. So according to my charge controller, I'm putting into the batteries around 361 watts at 21 amps roughly. Okay. Now I'm going to go turn on some devices inside the trailer here. Now remember, I'm not hooked up to shore power. Okay. So let me turn on some fans. Okay, I just turned on the bathroom shower vent fan, and you can see that I'm consuming right now, that I'm taking away from the batteries 30 watts. Now keep in mind that a cloud just went over, so there's no direct sunlight right at the moment. But as soon as that cloud goes oh, and look at the time remaining. 10 days, 0 hours. So right now, if nothing else changed, I could run the system for 10 days. Now keep in mind, even though there's a cloud overhead, I am still getting some power charge to my batteries. It's just not enough to last forever. Patriot, come here, buddy. Patriot. Mom's home with the groceries. This doggone cloud. I want that cloud to go away so you can see what happens when you got direct sunlight. Here we go. Here comes the sun. Okay. So now that cloud has kind of sort of moved over a little bit, we're now in the positive. We're now charging the batteries. We're not just consuming. Look at the time remaining is infinite. And yeah, the sun is coming out. It's getting brighter. It's getting brighter. Look at those panels. Those panels are, whoop, it's going down, going up. 224 watts. Now, while that's doing that, and you can see the numbers changing, let me just tell you about a wind turbine. I don't care if it's cloudy or sunny or what. As long as there's a breeze and that turbine is turning, it it will be putting current back into the batteries. Okay, so why do I have a wind turbine and solar? Well, because it's not always sunny in California, even though I don't live in California. I live in Florida. But you just saw it go to a negative. that charge controller is cycling. Now I'm going to go throw a blow dryer on. Watch what happens. So Mama's in there blow drying her hair. All right. Sucking up all the batteries. And that blow dryer is consuming 1,253 watts right now at 102 amps. Okay. Look at our time remaining, 4 hours. Look at the battery voltage, 12.1, 12.2, 12.11. I'm going to get a low battery alert here in about a second. And I still have some cloud coverage. So under these particular conditions right now, with Mama blow drying her hair, if she was blowing dry her hair for 3 hours, 2 hours 59 minutes, it's steadily going down. We'd be in deep doo-doo. She'd be using up all the battery power. Look at that, changed to 99. 12.13, 12.14. So right now we are sucking some serious power out of those batteries right now, which we don't want to do. So let me turn that thing off. Ah, much better, much better. I like it when it's not a negative number. Okay, look at our voltage. Our voltage is going back up. All right, now I'm going to go turn on the air conditioner, see what happens. Okay. Air conditioner just kicked on. Oh, there you go. There you go. It's not enough to run that bad boy. So what just happened, which is a cool thing, and I don't know if you can hear that beeping or not, but the inverter sensed that there was a problem, so it shut the system down. Okay, and now it's back up, and so I know that somebody the other day was talking on one of the forums about the getting an inverter that will protect your batteries. So I've got one. All right, we got full sun out right now. Well, I wouldn't say full. We got a couple of clouds in the sky, but nothing directly overhead or blocking the panels. So we're back to normal. That 99 will change here in just a few minutes. So this is called the Victron BMV 712 with Bluetooth. Now, because I've got this computer right here this computer is hooked up to the internet. I can access this through remote desktop, and I can view these settings from anywhere. Okay, which is kind of nice. I'm a geek like that. I like to do things. Otherwise, it's just simply Bluetooth, and Bluetooth is only good for 8 to 15 feet from the actual device. It's a low frequency situation, whereas Wi-Fi uses high frequency. That's why you get a much greater distance. I think like 1,500 feet for Wi-Fi. But with the internet, I can be in Japan and log in to my home computer and view these settings if I wanted to. So I'm pretty much into all that technology stuff when it comes to this. Same thing with my thermostat for my for the heat and for the air conditioner. It's all Bluetooth, and the same thing. I'll be able to access it from anywhere, turn it on, turn it off. It'll be very cool. Okay. Let's cut this one off. I mean, I hope you guys learned something. I mean, this is my system. This is what I'm doing. Everybody's system is different, but so far I'm very pleased. Now, while I got you on, I'm going to go plug in shore power. Okay. Oh, by the way, it changed to 100%. Let me go plug in the shore power. Okay, I just plugged into shore power, which means that the, what does that mean? It means lots of things. It means that the converter is taking over, and the converter took over, so it's running all the 12-volt stuff in the coach and all the 110. So now, let me go turn on that blow dryer right now. You'll notice the numbers didn't change because it's getting its power from shore power, not from the batteries. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's really beautiful. Let me shut that thing off. So when you're plugged into shore power, everything is no longer running through the inverter. It's running from the shore power. So now my converter, which is also a battery charger, just kicked in. And look how many watts of power I'm putting into the battery system. Now, when that gets to 14.6, that controller will kick off and stop charging the batteries. And so, rather than listening to it cycle on and cycle off, what I do is I just simply shut it off. Because remember, see, 14.51, I'll hang out till it gets to 14.56. Here's my battery, and I've got it set to charged, fully charged to 14.6, okay? So, we're at 14.51. In other words, when that number right there gets to 14.6, the charge controller will kick off, okay? Which is no big deal, but there's no sense in charging the batteries if they're completely full. And plus, when you're plugged into shore power, the converter takes over. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm getting winded now, and Mama's got a sandwich waiting for me. And like the video if you like it, subscribe to the channel if you like it, and please share it. And let's keep building some great RVs out there. All right. Also, don't forget to visit our website, GinaVince.com. GinaVince.com. And we'll catch you on the next video. Have a great Saturday.